Hello, everybody. Today we're going to have a two live chats. Okay, the first one that is going to be the shortest way to transform the ego. That was a setup by a couple. They are a twin flames. Talking about the Blue Swan 333. That is what it's coming into the chat. And when we're talking about ego, okay, what is the ego from within you? That is your way of control. That is a way of working within the lower energies to satisfy things within the material world. The ego is your the lowest point of within you, within in the energies, within your own self. A lot has been done in working within the ego. You probably from the ego you learned bad habits, you learned bad behaviors, you learned a lot of things. You are not proud of yourself, but the ego is important from within because the ego leads you to the illuminations. There's going to be a time when your ego is going to show you the ugliness of within. That is the time of when the things are crash from within you. That is the moment that in life that you have the crash. You finally, the ego did the crash from within you. So to recognize the people here in the chat, it's Margaret. Good morning to you, Margaret. And Ray of Light, Skywalker is in the house. Hi, Ray. Yes, thank you for being here. Violet Home, thank you. Thank you for being here. Very beautiful day. It's about talking about the ego. Actually, last night I spoke with the Blue Swan, and what I did is I explained it to him how you actually, because the question was a how fast you kill the ego from within, because people wants to do and tendency to do the things fast as they can, as possible as they can, because they are in hurry up. In the today's society, we want everything now. We want all the situations, everything to happen in the right moment, in the right situations, and our ego is satisfied with an instant gratifications from within. Someone to act a certain way, the way we want it now, not 1 hour ago, now. The ego has the now from within. A lot with the things that we want others to give to us. Okay, we like to take, receive. Hi, Evie, thank you for coming in. And the ego, it has been developed from the beginning. How the ego is developed, actually. The ego is developed as a child. That is at the time when you are screaming like a baby and you're like, wah, wah, waiting for mom to comes in. This is why in a lot of the books, it's recommended you to let the baby to cry for a little bit until he gets to understand mom doesn't have to come right away. Okay, mom does not have to go right away. That's what this pattern begins from with in later on. You know, when you grow up, you develop. Hi, unseen, unsaid. Thank you for coming in. Great comments. By the way, everyone who made the comments at the videos, I appreciate you guys and I appreciate you being here and for the support and so on and so on. For later on, that it is about you don't expect things from other, you develop empathy and so on and so on. But in the other case, it's like the mom pays attentions to you right away, and you begin to ask for attentions all the time. We're talking about this horrible 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. Sometimes it continues on. I say the attention, and later on it develops that you want to go into the school, you like the attentions from the schoolmates, then from as a teenager and as a grown-up you continue asking it to satisfy your ego. There is a, whether the competition is there, there is a, I can do it the sneaky way, I can do the other way, and so on and so on. Maria Richards, thank you for commenting into the chat. So I spoke with the Blue Swan last night, and I told him one thing: you need to understand, with the ego, you cannot just toss it out of the balcony. The ego has to become your friend. And you tell on the ego, and it's like, you know what, my friend, I'm just not gonna get you from here. Okay? I'm gonna take you and let's go downstairs, step by step, to go and do this from within us. The biggest things that you're gonna fill up with in your ego is when you know that your ego is telling you to do a certain things from within. That is a to create anger actions, negative actions, to create a situations that basically you're gonna satisfy your ego, but everything else it's gonna be pointless. Carl Lucy, thank you for coming in to the chat. Thank you for the sharing the love, everybody. And with the ego, you take the ego, and it's like, you know what, my friend, how about you and I understand each other? So you take in the ego with you about your hand. You open the door. You walk into the hallway. You live in on the 8th floor, and now step by step, the ego showing you in your life through situations, through a different variations from within you, what you need to overcome. Those are the holes in the bucket. So if you picture yourself like a your life like a water bucket, there is a holes in there, and the ego it's pointing out where those holes are. So one step, you plug one hole. Another step, you plunk another hole. And at the end, you go down there, and the ego that drains your energy, that drains all that stuff from within. Now you finish the job, and you can go and get the water from downstairs and get up into your apartment in the 8th floor. Otherwise, what the ego does in your life, okay, you go, you get your bucket within you, you fill up with water, but by the time you get into the 8th floor, guess what? There is no water anymore there because the whole water walked out. It's the same thing within the energy of your life. There is coming a point of time that you probably tried, the ego tried so many times in your life to fill up the bucket and take in the elevator. And guess what? You go, you fill up the bucket with water with the elevator, and every time you walk in into the elevator until you get into the 8th floor, or until the elevator comes in, or until you get into your apartment, there is no water. So you have to go back. You have to go back in and out, and trying the same things over and over and over again until the reality hits you. The reality that you have a bucket with holes. And the ego job is to protect that bucket. There is no holes in there. You are blind. The ego is blinding the soul from within to see the reality from within you. Now, you, after so many tries to get the water within that bucket with holes, the reality hits you. And the reality is your ego that sabotages you in your life, the ego that does the things from within you. And now you are like, what the hell am I doing? I need to stop this. So you learn to be the authentic from within you. By you be an authentic from within you, guess what happens? You begin to live in the reality. You go ahead now, you take that bucket, you take the egos out, and it's like, what is this? Oh, I'm greedy. Okay, I am gonna stop to being greedy. What is this? I'm jealous. Oh, Okay, I'm not going to be jealous. I'll be happy for others. What is this? Next problem, in the next problem, in the next problem. And when you come down, you let the ego out there. And now, later on, when you overcome these situations, the more you focus within the reality, the more you focus within the real world, the more you do a real actions, and the more you will understand that now the ego taught you on a one important thing from within you to look the truth in you. The ego actually helped you. Now the ego, since you understand the ego within the fulfillment, you see the ego within other people. When you begin to communicate or exchange energies or gravitate towards other people, now you understand these games of the ego that has been played. You know who is a player, you know who what energies brings, you know what is going on from within you. But the shortest way is always one, facing the truth within you. Did I'm acting from my soul or I'm acting from my ego? Did I will do the job? I will want somebody else to do the job. Do I want something to happen in my life? Or why will my ego wants it from? You need to understand the ego shows up its ugly head. I told the story actually yesterday, but I also talked about that story today. The ego, it's like that little tiny, tiny devil within you, and that devil walks into the kingdom. Now he walks in there, and everybody's like, wow, look at this demon. He's ugly. He's got a nasty breath, and he's like so black. Now you give them a negative energy, and now this negative energy, it grows. Then it goes more and more, and everyone goes and gives this negative energies for it. Is the same thing with your ego. When other people get that negative things from within you and they feed you with negative energy, guess what? Your ego grows. Your ego is boost. And what is this? Whoa, what did you do? Oh man, that's good. You succeed in life. Oh, you create all this, you create all that. Oh, look at the you, okay? And guess what? You grow, you boost your ego. Where is your soul though? So what happened with this dragon becomes this gigantus, jamorting thing. It walks into the throne room, into the kingdom, and guess what? It sits in that throne. That is your internal throne from within you. And now that ego begins to control you. And when that ego begins to control you, guess what? You're looking at for the fastest way to making money. You to screw up somebody else so it can be okay. Maybe at if you're on a corporate level, you're trying to screw up somebody so you can get a better job, better pay. You're trying to do manipulations for things. You trying to maybe stealing and so on and so on. I mean, you can imagine of everything that the ego can make you do out of the lower energies from within you. But here is the one thing, though. There's coming a time that that crashes. So the king. Hi, Philly Sparks. Thank you for coming into the chat. But so what happening within this ego situations is the king, which is you, went out into an advisor, okay, and it's like, what should we do with this? What should we do with this? And advisor said, tell them how beautiful it is, how beautiful these things are. Let them to see the beautiful from within and see what happens. So now the king went in there, which is you. You went into your internal world, sees your ego. And now you tell, oh, well, the life is beautiful. You're beautiful too. Okay, let's see the world as the beautiful things. So now he made an order, everyone in the kingdom to see the beauty. Now, when he sees the beauty, now that little ego of ours begins to be shrink, 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 and at the end says, poof. That is the fastest way you to begin to see the things not from your ego-based perspective of life, you to see it from the spiritual base of life from within you. This is the aha moment when you find and caught yourself with the red flags from your ego. You worked with your ego. You maybe learned that ego from society, friends, acquaintances, relatives, culture, maybe religion, or so on. But you'll understand you act from the ego. That is the moment when you understand that you have to look the things within beautiful parts within your life. Okay. And the ego, the way you're gonna be getting out with the ego is caught yourself acting from ego base points. That is the ego that is from within you that wants things, certain things, your way, instead of following the natural path that was laid down in you. You will be tested, but you are going to feel the energy of the ego. It creates intentions, creates anger and anxiety. It is like you're waiting for. What are you waiting for? Instead of waiting, go ahead and do the things. Go do the actions from within, but within soul understanding. Or maybe you don't have to take any actions. Sometimes not taking any actions is actually an action because you stop the internal war that is from within you about who's going to control the mind. Is your soul or is your ego? Okay. So everything that it's from within you is going to be pushing you to the point of the crash of the ego. Sooner or later, you're going to have a crash in life. You are going to be telling yourself, stop, I don't can't anymore. And that crash, it is when you understand that that ego sabotaged your life and you want to be happy. Okay, at some point during your lifetime, you have that crash. That turns your mind to seek the soul, you to look your soul evolutions, you to abandoning that part of the ego from within you. And there is no more beautiful process within this. You have to love this process because this is you. You are from within. Now the ego, since it's beginning to dissolve, doesn't disappear. But what the ego united within the soul and the mind, protecting you from the ego of other people so they can not harm you anymore. You begin to live within the truth, within the authenticity from within you. You are an authentic personality right now because the soul, the spirit from within you, give you this point within your own self. Everything like this works with all the bad habits you have in you. For example, you can have an addictions. You can have a bad relationships. You can attract other people. You can attract similar situations that comes into your life. But once you caught up your own mistakes, your own red flags, you begin to do the inner work of the solutions of the ego in you. And guess what? When that the solutions of ego, it comes in from within you, okay, you are going to be in peace because there is no more war within your ego and within your soul. Who's going to control the mind in you? Now your mind doesn't have dualities. Now your mind is illuminated about situations in life. Maybe you go ahead and see a brochure ad for a local store, and they say something is on sale. Well, guess what? You hop in the internet and you see it. Okay, the sale price that is there, you can find it even less than that over some other place. Okay, but now you look at it, the regular price, for the regular price is 30% more than you found that price in the same product, the same manufacturer. Okay, so now what is the truth? The truth is the authenticity. You're looking at from within that some people trying to make, using their ego, by using the things that they want to make more money quickly. Okay, that is it, the ego. The ego wants the things that can comes in fast as possible, and the more, it's better. The ego is impatient. Okay, the ego has no patience. The ego doesn't have this inner peace waiting period. Okay, but the soul knows that the right times happen in the right place under the right circumstances, because that's what is right to do. Okay, and here's the one thing: the more you walking your ego down the stairs and you caught up the red flags, guess what? It's going to become a habit to you. And that habit is going to help you. The fastest way you can get this ego from within you out of your way of thinking, because now the soul is overriding this new standard within your mind. There is no more fights. You surrender your ego and you gave power to your soul. Now the soul is within your mind, and that is a that powerful thing in you. People think that the inner work stops. No, the inner work is that process first. And I'm so happy from Blue Swan that they did this question from within. So that's kind of like a basically, I want to give you this. I actually give it to this to them yesterday. I spoke with them. I had like 20 or maybe a 30 minutes talk for it, but he got it. Okay, he got it from within. That is what important is. Okay, a lot of the people think like, yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and do it, and guess what? You give it a wings to your ego, or maybe your ego is splashing down there into the ground, and guess what happens? It shows its ugly head and it comes in and bites you again and again. But when you walk it downstairs, when you tell them, you know what, I love and appreciate everything, uh, that it's how you let it go. Um, there is a, I believe that was a from Anthony Robbins, who was saying like this: a person can change himself for 21 days. Okay, I'm giving him a credit to Anthony Robbins. There was this tapes of self development. Okay, and he said, if you want to change a habit in you, it takes you 21 days to change. And if you want to really do something, write it down. What do you want to change from within you? And do it. Okay? You're going to focus from negative to a positive and do it for 21 days. See the positive instead of seeing the negative, which is that's what this. See the positive. I'm not able to do this. Well, I'm going to be able. I want to find out how to do this. And you do it. And then you do it for 21 days. Then you see what the situations is. So Margaret Spina, thank you. And Margaret Richards, thank you guys. So now I can take some few questions, because we are going to have a part two, which is staying true to yourself and not be obsessed with your twin after the union, which you see is by Diamond B. For, and I'm expecting later on, as soon as we finish this video, I'm gonna do that particular video as a set up. Maria Richards, leave the ego and the holes in the bucket. I will re-listen to the ego developing practice. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's. I hope that Maria that helped you. You know the visualizations when you talk, the expressions that you do. That this analogy for it is to make things that they look complicated, but to make them simple. Everything in life is simple, is not complicated. The ego makes it complicated. Our will of control the situation makes it complicated. The manipulations that we do get in, the fear makes them. Those are all good qualities of the ego. Okay, that's what this is. When you understand these holes from within you that drains your energy, when you plug them in, guess what? You have more energies from within you, not to drain yourself out. Thank you for the enlightenment that tell us exactly what I'm experiencing to it. I speak to a time in my life and praise God for the inner peace. Yes, the inner peace leads to this. The biggest award that you can have in life is the inner peace with your actions. And what I'm talking about, the actions, that is it, the right actions from within you that come within the soul. Okay, your soul is satisfied with your actions compared to when you lie, cheat, or steal, and so on. Guess what? Why you don't have the inner peace? Because you might gonna get caught. You might gonna get shamed. You're gonna be maybe caught by the police if you're stealing and so on. And guess what? Do you have the inner peace in you? No, you don't. You are constantly under the fire of hell from within you because there is no inner peace. But when your actions are developed from there, from the inner peace, from the divine, from within you, and they back up within the actions within the 3D, guess what? Your spirit is within you. You have that inner peace. And guess what? What is the reward in there? You are in peace for it. And you have that love, you have these things from within yourself that can actually helping others to get it and to understand from within you. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that great? Because this inner peace leads you to finally you begin to be happy from within. That is the internal Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase. It means no worries till the rest of your days. Yeah. Okay. So you guys have some questions about this? Let's talk about it and let's discussing the ego. I'm very in a good mood about these ego situations because had to do it in a earlier part of life when I was waking it up and get it on and move on to all these things in me. So, but you guys, we all have still have some ego situations, still want things that it's gonna happen from within us. So, Wonder Ananda, hi, thank you for coming in, thank you for the sharing the love. We're talking about the shortest ways to transform the ego. For it, talk about it. The shortest way is you to cut up your own red flags from within you. When you develop the habit of catching your own red flags, you do these self realizations, that becomes a habit. That is just the fastest way because your thought pattern and thought process, they are now controlling from within your soul. For Margaret, speed up. For me, the inner peace that helps me to maintain myself every day and helps me control myself instead of allowing other people to control me because I don't want to lose my peace. Exactly. You're protecting now the inner peace. And if you understand now the ego that was there, because we use the negative side of the ego, to have, to control, to manipulate, to steal, to cheat, to satisfy that lower self. But we never look at the ego, the positive side of the ego. We're talking about the new ways. You look in the both sides of the coin, put them together for elimination. Now you see the good quality of the ego. Now the ego is protecting you from harm of others people's ego. Okay, that is a from the ego that people wants to be in their way. There wants to be a certain things. They want it now. They demanding attentions. They demanding situations. Maybe they demanding a certain things just because of them, so they can satisfy their ego. Okay, now that protects you. You caught up that ego from within, and now you illuminate yourself that the ego also had a part of your life that is leading you to enlightenment, to illumination. Okay, but again, the fastest way to get rid of the ego is to learn to cut your own red flags. And that's what within the twin flames, when the ego is there, this is the good part that now it's coming, is that when the one person knows the ego of the other person and the other person knows the ego of the other person, they helping each other out with their egos. And when that mirroring effect of the egos happens, and that is the inner pieces in there, now the egos are serving to protecting this from within. Okay, the ego is not anymore cause of separation. Now the ego is there to protect, but also to remove and to get the rest of the part, so you can receive the illuminations, the latest cycle from within the twin flame. That is it about the illumination process from within the soul, to understand why. Why did you guys separate? The separations and the drama and the pain within the twin flames, within the soul connections, it's coming from the ego. Fighting for what? Fighting for control, money, or something, whatever the situations might be. Fight to be right, or maybe a fight of point things out. Okay, so that's what that is. It creates a balance from within. Incredible balance, but what that balance does, that balance brings the inner peace from within you. Okay, guys, the balance enough ego, so we are in a pushover. Exactly. All right. Does any of you have some questions, guys? I'm surprised that the Blue Swans are not here in the chat, or maybe they're gonna watch it later on. Maybe it's very early in the morning for them. I try to make the video a little bit late, and I had a very important call today, very important talk, and later on, maybe down the road, I will inform you for it. But at this moment, just trying to keep the things the way they are, the situations the way they are. All right. Outside, it's dark, cloudy, and rainy. That's what you probably see, the darkness here. I may have to come in and get some big lights here so you guys can see me better, but that how it is going on. Okay, and what is going to happen is I'm going to take like a 10 minutes break possibly, and we are going to do the second session of this, that it's going to be staying true to yourself and not be obsessed with your twin after reunion. And I think that is a very important positions, and we need to talk about and discuss today. because it's important. It's both topics that were important. We talked about yesterday's in the chat, and you guys decided the part one and the part two situations from within of what the things should be. So that's about it. If you guys don't have some questions, we can close this session out in 10 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and reopen Staying Truth for it, and that will be. And if you guys want to share the love here, that will be perfect, because I want to say also one thing. It's very good that here we have that inner peace as collective energy. And that collective energy is inner peace, brings peace within everybody, is transferable. It goes out to other people through you, through the video, or somehow it's emitted out through the gravitations processes in you. And I want to say thank you for all of you that you are in this state of inner peace in you. All right, guys. So let's share the love, and I'm gonna see you in 10 minutes in the next video. Dio, do you believe that people can come together after 17, 18 years? Margaret Spina, people can come together. And the people will come together because of they are both willing to do the work. They both want to have this inner peace within them together. The achievement of that internal peace within the souls of the both two individuals. Okay. The difference between belief and achieving, it is the amount of inner work you're preparing yourself for it. Okay, because miracles happens every day. Miracles that you never thought that will happen, that could happen. Somebody will call you. Okay, like the call that I had like 2 days ago, that somebody says like, "Hey, Dio, my twin flames come back." All right, that is about not only a belief, okay, but we are talking about actions from soul. Okay, even last night I received a text. It says, "Hey, what's going on within the energies, right?" And guess what? Today, what I had the similar call. I was in a call for about 3 hours. Okay, but it's actions out of the soul. We're not talking about ego. We're not talking about issues. We're not talking about problems. We're not talking about situations. We were talking about the soul evolutions and the inner peace. That's what it was. We didn't discuss the drama. We didn't discuss the situations. We didn't discuss the separations. We discussed the inner peace. That's what makes the difference. Actions based out of your soul. That's how you overcome your ego. That's how you overcome your inner situations in yourself. That's how you beat up the ego from within you. Okay? That. You stay cool. You stay in peace, because that internal peace becomes your standard of life from within you. So it's not about only to believe. That is a blind faith. You need to understand the blind faith from God is very powerful, especially when it asks you to be 100% love in you, is to give. Because God gives you unconditional love all the time. You're God's creature. You're a universe creature. Why you don't give unconditional love? And when God comes in and asks you to be giving this, He's asking you, you gotta let it go of your ego. You gotta let it go of your things from within you. And that's what some of us were trying and still fighting that ego from within. But the beautiful reward is the inner peace. And that's what everyone here that you have lately, since we begin to doing all this live chats and so on and so on, uh, that's the reward. But you also do one thing you might not realizing. You're bringing the paradise on earth. If you look at it in the inner perspective from within yourself, that inner peace is that. You bring in the paradise on earth. Love you guys. Be loved. There you go. Give you some gifts of love, guys. All right, I will see you in about 10 minutes and till I set it up the next session. And get yourself ready with the questions. All right, the quality of the questions leads to the quality of the information. That how is it goes. All right, guys, be loved.